Greetings, and another local mud flood video. Um, this is just the local Ipswich in Suffolk sort of interpretation of Martin Leaker's Flat Earth British, which has been a wonderful inspiration, and also a big thank you to John Levi and his wonderful channel as well. This is St Lawrence Church, I say a church, St Lawrence Energy Centre in Ipswich, which is now been repurposed as a cafe, but we've still got this tower, and it's not going to show up very clear. Oh, with my limited abilities, what have we done here? Oh, the wrong button. Hold on, let's go back again. I'm hopeless at this. Technology is not my strong point. Anyway, looking very similar to these ceramic cooling devices on pylons. You'll see these on these churches. This one does. I think it's got a flagpole. I think it shows another picture later on. But you've got these funny sort of knobbly bits on the outsides. Beautiful pattern, and these wretched Phoenician overlays. Needed to get a chisel to them. Once again, it's done its usual, and these pictures are all over the place. These are all taken today. Now, this is Princess Street Bridge. You have the railway station just over. That's part of the building there. Yeah, that's part of the building there. And this would take you into the town centre. Quite a simple style, but you've got this circular bit in the middle here. Nothing in it. Just but this circular design. There'll be more pictures of this a little bit later on. We're back to the church. Now, I couldn't help but notice this is one of the main internal. It's a massive arch, and it does resemble like a drain. Lee on Flat Earth British Sub has mentioned about the idea of there being these being hollow and pipes inside, and it certainly does seem to be give the indication of a transfer of either a liquid or perhaps an energy going through those. There's about 50 odd pictures, and we're back to the bridge again. Just a side view, just to give you an idea. You couldn't exactly say it's the most elegant style. We've got the lovely graffiti there. What actually drew my attention to this bridge are these 4 lamps, which will come on to a little bit later on. Now back to St Lawrence Church again. I am sorry about this. Very interesting is this complete change, whether it's a repair, but there does seem to be a water line from some time in its history, which does match up with St Mary Le Tower, which is the next church, not too far from this one. And it would be about that same line. In the previous video I did that. Now, this is an old granary building, I think you'd call it. It was in use as a nightclub. It looks like it's been turned into flats now. But I took the picture of this partly because you have got lower levels, which you haven't got on the street. There's another picture a bit later on. There are sort of window top half curves in this cream brick either side of this doorway. So we'll go on to see if we can find that in a moment. What else have we got here? Oh yeah. Now here's this massive arch inside of the church. I thought it's quite ironic. You've got these lights almost sort of like they're laughing at us, saying, look, this is the free energy, and this is what it would have looked like whizzing round. Again, you've got these massive, what almost look like downpipes. And again, why do we have to have these doors so tall? I mean, a 6-foot person only comes up to about here, but then you've got this massive archway. I mean, how much of this is infill, really, from years ago? And we're back to the bridge. This centre column, it looks like it did have something on here at one time, which has been removed. And back to the church. Strange little door. doesn't seem to be in use. But again, it's this strange height. It's like, well, they can build this building with such accuracy, but they can't get the street level right, or certainly doesn't match up to the current street level. And part of my journey as well, you've got this, I call it Phoenician vomit, all over what looks to be more like a Tartarian style. You've got seashells in this terracotta. There always seems to be a fish or watery theme with the Phoenicians. What is this one? Oh yes, this was very interesting. Beside the church, this is the bottom of a wall of a back of a shop, and I did a little bit of digging with a stick in this sort of gravel, and that does look to be like the top of a window arch. You can see the boarded up window above and this windowsill line. I'd love to actually dig down further and see another 2 or 3 courses and see if that really is a window arch, but it looks, maybe it could well be just that bit is missing, but it looks to have a definite cut of an angle. It definitely needs more investigation, I think. And back in the church, you can see the pulpit and the red and black tiles, sort of almost Masonic reference. They look quite old, those ones. Below the sort of the new cafe floor area that's been put in there. Here we are, we're back at the front of this, near the Princes Street Bridge. It may show up, yeah, hopefully you can just see this. You've got this arch, almost replicating this arch, implying that there is something lower. I mean, it's not inconceivable that this road has been put in and resurfaced over the years, and it's gradually progressed higher. Again, we're back in the town again. Strange little features, like why bother going to having this design, and yet there's nothing in the middle there. Got this herringbone pattern on the adjoining building, which I thought was quite a nice effect. I don't know if that is Tartarian. Seems to have like an overlay put on the building. They seem to have like doing that, these Phoenicians. Again, back to the church, and again it looks just like a downpipe with this join, and then you've got these strange crowns and things that are quite weathered and worn. Back to the side of the Maltings building, and you can see on the what would that be, the north side, there is definitely a lower level, and the ground is lower down there. The windows are still in place. This is not the best angle picture to show that. Where are we going? Now back to the Princes Street Bridge, which was just over the road from the previous picture. You've got these on each end of the bridge. You've got it's Antiquetech basically, and they have put a modern and like a 5G antenna in there, and it's still in use by the looks of it as a street light. And then you've got the official narrative about when the bridge was built there. I mean, if you want to look up Princes Street Bridge online, all the information is there, the official narrative. And again, drops the pencil. You've got all these balustrades, quite a nice sort of touch really, but in some ways it seems a half effort compared to what was. Again, it's for the building, the herringbone pattern, and then just to demonstrate windowsills, clearly blanked off windows here. They've actually made quite a good job of the brickwork on that one. Back to the, yes, another, this was on the south side of St Lawrence Church, an old doorway that's been bricked up at some time in its past. I thought was another interesting feature. And this would be on the north side of the same church. Again, you've got, I don't know how clear this is going to show on here, you've got a very distinct, almost like water damage line at the bottom here. And moving on, another Antiquetech, the other side, the Maltings building you can see behind. Interestingly, this replicates the back of the town hall that has the 4 prongs. So I would say that was also Antiquetech. The whole style of that sort of, it's supposed to be a Maltings building, but you know how they like to repurpose or rename these buildings. Again, lots of interesting, looks like terracotta Phoenician overlays, seashells and things going on there. What's this one? Oh yes, that's that where I discovered you've got this boarded up door or window, and then that's what drew my attention, this odd piece to this lowest level brick. And yeah, I really want to go and dig that. More Phoenician overlays. You notice the Greco-Romano triangular shape that you see on pretty much buildings everywhere around the world. And here we are, the this is this arch I was talking about, like a window top, and it definitely looks to be a bricked up window there. Seems rather strange in a way. You've got these short windows and then this another one very close, but then if you look above the doorway, it's the same sort of distance. There's not much height difference between these windows at all. What else have we got? Yes, this is the looking from that Princes Street Bridge, and this is to illustrate on this building. In the street level is here, and then you've got it drops down, but I mean it's still way above the water line even at high tide, which is somewhere about here, and this was at fairly low tide. But yeah, completely lower floors, and it does make you wonder if the whole ground level pre-mud flood was down the same as the back of the building. Yeah, this one I've showed before, but I don't think it's, yeah, it's just typical. I've got it at the wrong angle. Behind this apex, there's definitely Antiquetech there. There was a rusty metal, probably iron spike. I would imagine there would have been a lot more to that at one point. Probably they'd tell us it was a flagpole, like they always do. And again, another downpipe. What else have we got? Ah, yes, this was not a very successful attempt. Now the Ipswich docks, the old docks, this is what they call the wet dock, which is lock gated, so you cannot go by the height of the water in there, because it's not going to show very clear in this picture, but the actual genuine river, tidal river, is much lower down on that side. This is my first port of call to the customs house, and again, I don't know how close, well this is going to show. You can see there's windows, or were windows at one time. Maybe it's because of rising tides in recent years. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for that one. Now, very interesting and also rather pathetic in a way, considering the historical significance of it. This is the official narrative is this is Thomas Wolsey's, Cardinal Wolsey's gate from the time of Henry VIII, and it ran out of money as soon as they built the sort of this, so they say, Tudor style brickwork, and that's as far as it goes. It's on a main road, it's leaning forwards, and it's a wonder it hasn't actually collapsed, and why the council have not relocated it. If it's so of such importance, it would be better to be picked apart brick by brick and relocated somewhere where it can actually be seen and appreciated, because this is a one-way inner ring road basically, and it doesn't do, even if you were to go by the official history, it doesn't do it any justice whatsoever, which is a great shame. It's sort of what might have been, or what maybe was, but we're not being told the truth. The other Antiquetech Energy Centre, not in use as a church, repurposed as, I think, I'm not even sure what they use that one for now, but there's a lot of churches very close together. Strange sort of ornamentation at the top, very beautiful. And I do wonder about these. Is this something to do with the sound? Bearing in mind the human body has organs and a windpipe, and churches have windpipes on the organ, and it's all. I mean, you do get a vibration from these old organs in churches. Now, this to me is one of the most beautiful buildings in Ipswich. This is the Lloyd's Bank, Lloyd's Archway. I mean, this is just so ornate, so it's aesthetically pleasing. The like you'll never see built like this ever again. But the attention to detail so high up, and again, it's Antiquetech everywhere to be seen here. You've got the Phoenician overlays. I will try and master uploading the photos to the Flat Earth British think tank. Hopefully I can get that done at some point today. Again, this is just highlighting, unfortunately the sun was the wrong way, but this style of brick, this neat uniformity, I think it's very attractive. But it's amazing the heights of these windows, and then these tiny ones at the top. I wish I had a camera rather than the phone camera to take pictures. That one's a bit of a nothing shot. Now this one, the whitewash, there's a close-up of this bit further on. It's peeling off and revealing the cream colour brick, and it shows just how thick this whitewash that they've covered over this brick with actually is, which is the reason for taking that. Now we move to the old post office. I mean, like John Levi says, it makes sense to go to all this trouble to sell stamps. Like he said, they were still using horses in the United States. No sort of infrastructure of roads or anything, just compressed mud, and yet they can transport, according to the official narrative of course, they can transport these fabulous statues and put them high up on the building that you can't really fully appreciate them. Got a sort of almost like a watery Phoenician theme. It's them again and these funny faces again, and you've got this. Now I understand these curl bits, this Roman, it's supposed to come from Egyptian. It's something like bamboo, and the way it splits, it curls over. Is the I seem to remember years ago reading about on this, and you can see all these swirly bits. That how much of this is actually original, how much is overlays. What else have we got? Oh yeah, we're back to the arch, the Thomas Wolsey arch again, looking rather forlorn and sad. There's nothing behind the doorway. This again, another one of these Phoenician, well, what is she, mermaid or something. And again, another view. Now there's the Antiquetech I was trying to point out, that I was at the wrong angle in the last photo. But you've got this, it's oxidised, so I assume that would be copper. It's sort of gone green, it doesn't come out very well. And then you've got the antenna on the top, so that is definitely Antiquetech. Now there's the close-up of how thick that whitewash material is over the brick. Hopefully it will show fairly clear there. Yeah, the wet dock. We'll come on to that a bit further. Oh yeah, here we go. Another one of, there's 4 of these Phoenician sort of sea maidens on the top of the old post office building. And of course, you've got these other sort of typical Phoenician things. And another one there. That's the last of the 4 of those. HSBC Bank, again, very ornate. Just for a bank, and also I hadn't actually noticed this before, you've got these balls on the top here, which again I would say is probably something to do with the Antiquetech, which is probably where you get the word global technology from, because they like to reuse things. The old town hall, well, it's still the town hall, but really, to go to all this for a town hall, not just in this town, but what would the cost of that be, even if they could reproduce this style? What would that actually come to? But we're talking in an age of horses and carts and ropes and brute strength, and are we expected to believe that all that was put up there, including a clock? No doubt there'd be a bell as well. I mean, the weight of these things to get them up there. And of course, even on the more recent buildings, there's never photos of these things being built. They're just sort of there, fully formed. Again, more of this strange style high up above the shop fronts that most people don't even notice. And again, this one is, this is the post office. This is all to do with selling stamps, remember. So it makes a lot of sense to go to all this detail way high up on the building, which most people aren't even going to fully appreciate for its architectural beauty. And here again, we have some interesting features. You have a full window here, but not here. Looks like it's been bricked up, and it's the same. This is wet dock warehouses that were, which probably will be turned into flats, no doubt. Now we're coming on to the old customs house. Looks to me very Tartarian in the brick structure. Now, what I've always thought was ridiculous about this, you look at the height of the car. So we're looking maybe, not even 5 foot. So that's really practical to have this doorway. At its highest is going to be under 5 foot. I actually stood next to it just to check on compared to my own height. It's absolutely ludicrous to build all this and then to put a door down there. And this allegedly is the customs house jail. Again, this is only about 5 foot tall. It says mind your head, and yeah, I would stand about here against this. It's just ridiculous. And obviously some more, oh, we missed one, some more technology from years ago. A no longer in use water fountain on the front of this customs house. And what else have we got here? And yeah, I couldn't quite make out the wording on this. What's interesting, this is on the customs house. You've got the brick base to one of these columns. Then you've got this completely different stone with this name sort of carved into it. It looks, from my sort of doing my family history research, that this is done by a stonemason by hand, not machine. Look, because it's so uneven in the way this lettering is done. There's a metal plate down here as well. That will need further investigation. This is the front of the customs house. Again, you can see that same Greco-Roman style, the triangular shape, the 4 pillars of earth, the dome, and then the ridiculously small doorway. And of course it makes sense, you'd have all these steps to go up to get up there, when you could have just built it at ground level. There's another view of it here. Again, you can see how ridiculously low this entrance is compared to, I mean, you couldn't even get that car in there. So what exactly that was for is anybody's guess. And then this beautiful clock tower on the back. Lovely architectural style with all this. What have we got here? Oh yeah, I think we're on to older pictures now that I've showed before. Yep, that concludes that. So there's a few more strange anomalies. So I suppose you could say, if they were telling the truth and actually took these floor levels or these street levels back to where they were, we would not have a homeless problem, because you have a good 1 or 2 floors below the existing street level, so it wouldn't take a lot to actually open up these rooms, and you would not have a homeless problem in this country or any other country. I will again say, look at John Levi's presentations, and look at Martin Leaker, Flat Earth British, and Lee, Flat Earth British Sub. And also New Earth channel is definitely worth looking at as well. I think her name's Sylvie. Some very interesting things to be seen on there. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much.